Hello there, good people. How's it going? My name is Marco and I am a self-taught programmer. I have recently changed my career from the geosciences, from geology actually, towards more promising lands, more promising shores, let's say. As a self-taught programmer, I have learned and done many things, and I think that I have many other things that I want and can share. In particular, these videos, this series of videos that I'm going to release weekly, are going to have that kind of general share your code or share your project type of vibe. As I said, I have created many different things in different languages, and I want to share with you some of these projects, walk you through them, and if you're learning to code, and kind of explain what I've learned from them. Now, as a self-taught programmer, the journey to learn is a bit more complicated. It does not become more or less difficult. I mean, let's face it, learn how to code, it is difficult. It takes passion, commitment, it takes time and effort. But if you took the standard route, so let's say you started coding very young as a teenager, or maybe you went to university for a computer science degree, the road ahead is basically already laid out in front of you. And even if you had to learn how to code by yourself, which is something that you always have to do, I mean, university might teach you something like very old languages, but I mean, you're not going to learn React at university. So you're always going to learn coding by yourself. But when you're a student, the projects and topics are given to you by the university itself or by the professors. And this gives you a path to follow. So for example, you start with data structures and algorithms, then you go on with database, then maybe compilers and networking, you name it. The self-taught route doesn't have that structure. You might start and have no idea where you're at, where to start from, and what to do, what topics you should learn and what's next. I mean, is this going to be enough, etc. I mean, there are so many questions that need to be answered. And there are wonderful websites like Coursera or maybe Free Code Camp. And they offer very excellent course. And you might get some sort of infrastructure. But at times they can become quite confusing. Because let's face it, after all, it's all a personal decision. It's a personal choice. So the syllabus for that course can be very well structured. But you still might not be at that level to, fully understand and make use of what the course is teaching you. So in my experience, I found that among the many projects that you can do, there are some that are better than others, some that are strongly recommended. And let's call it milestones or checkpoints that help you keep track of where you are in your coding journey. I mean, if you're learning web development, it's pretty natural to start from maybe web design or maybe just a simple markup language, so HTML, and adding a little bit of styling with CSS, so just creating a very simple, in brief web page. That is step number one. Then you might want to introduce some logic, so you create another app, another web app, and so on, and you just go on repeating the process. At project number 20, you can actually look back and say, yeah, okay, I've done that, so I know how to do it, and I also have done that. So yes, I guess my level as a developer is, I don't know, somewhere in between here and here. Of course, it's something that you say to yourself. For example, when watching a tutorial or a video about coding, you can really understand your level for the amount of things that you can actually understand about what it's been explained. For example, when I watch React tutorials or React videos, I can understand maybe 30-40% of what the teacher says. And of course, it depends on the video. But when I do so, I know that it's not only a theoretical knowledge, but it's also a practical knowledge because I have the projects to back it up. So I have created components. I have created simple, very simple React apps. So I can say, I've done that. I'm at that level, that beginner's level at React. Knowing where you are when you're learning is extremely important and super overlooked. After a while of just learning, you can become frustrated, you can become bored, and motivation might get lost somewhere just along the lines. After all, it is very difficult to stay focused when you have no idea where you've been and what you have accomplished. In addition, milestone projects not only tell you where you are, but also potentially tell everyone else. So possible recruiters or employers might actually see what you've done and what you have accomplished and what your level is. So for example, if you build an API, then they'll know that you are capable of doing it. If you build an amazing website, like full of animations, transitions and cool stuff, well, then everybody will know that you're capable of building that stuff. However, for your own sanity, I think you should increase gradually the complexity of your projects. I mean, if you have no idea how to concatenate a string, don't even bother trying to build an API. Yes, you might follow online tutorials and you just copy everything. Your API will work, yoo-hoo, everything is fine, but it's actually not, because you have no idea of what everything is doing and what the underlying logic is. As the old saying goes, learn to walk before you can run. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about from personal experience. After a couple of months of learning how to code, and that's not web development, just coding Python, I kept hearing APIs and APIs, so I wanted to create an API myself. So I found a post online and just copied everything that the post was saying. I was using Flask. At the time, I didn't even know what Flask was. In this series of videos, I'm going to use it quite often. But at the time, I had no idea what I was doing. So the API was working, but I didn't know why. I mean, I didn't know what HTTP requests were. I didn't know what JSON file were. I mean, it was just a mess. And it actually made more damage than good. Because after that, I said, this thing is just too complex. It's too complicated. So I held off for months and months before trying again with an API. Whereas if I had taken step by step, so learning about requests, learning about JSONs, it probably wouldn't have seemed so difficult, because it actually isn't. To build a basic API is not that difficult, and you'll see that in these videos, by the way. In conclusion, don't skip milestone projects. In this series, I will share many very common milestone projects that helped me learn and developed solid foundations. Despite being easy or boring or out of fashion, believe me, they will help you in ways you can't imagine. So if you wanted to follow me in this series, well then don't forget to subscribe, leave a like and a comment with what you might consider a big milestone project that helped you become a better developer, or something that you'd like to see on this channel. This being said, I thank you very, very much for watching, and I really hope to see you in the next video. For now, this is all. Stay tuned for more. Bye bye.